Alright, so I found this Atari 2600 and I wasn't sure if it worked, so I bought myself a cartridge, a really good one at that, and I also got myself some sort of power supply that would work on 9 volts. It's a 3.5mm jack. I've also tuned the TV now, so it will work. I've not turned it on yet. But yeah, this is the Darth Vader model. As you can see, it's the black one. And I've also made a custom controller, which is just based on an arcade stick, but it should suffice for now. And yeah, you got the game reset command, you got the game select command, you got the TV type command, so color or black or white. And we can now turn it on. If we turn it on, we'll get this to see on the screen. And it's black on blue now with some reddish tints. And now, sometimes it just shifts colors. No clue about that. But yeah, I can use the joystick. And the spaceship moves around. I've also connected the firing pin, pin 6, to a certain button on the joystick, so on one of the clicks, and it doesn't really seem to do anything. So I would think there's something wrong still inside of the unit, which it's a 50-year-old machine almost. Sounds logical. And we can also just fix the screen a little by turning it into black and white mode. Sometimes you get low contrast, which is kind of awful. But yeah, it doesn't really seem to. Yeah, it doesn't be able to. Yeah, and you can get hit, but nothing really happens. And when I press the select game command, sometimes in some game modes the shields move, and sometimes the enemies are invisible. Sometimes the enemies are visible and you have the shifting walls. I also found a game mode. Oh yeah, here the enemies are stationary to make it easier. But it seems like every bit basically allows for one certain type of setting. So either the walls move, the enemies move. And I also found this really interesting game mode. Yeah, where you suddenly have an extra player character. So maybe if we now put our joystick in the other port, we should be able to play as the right rocket. So I'm just going to disconnect the joystick now. And then connect it to player 2. And then it seems like the second player can play, but it also doesn't seem to be able to fire any bullets. But yeah, this is probably just set on bit 5 or something. Because when you exceed bit 5, so you go to 64, then I expect the second player to disappear. Yeah, here, 65. Interesting. But yeah, there are certainly quite a lot of game modes. I think you can count up until like 128, because there's no, it doesn't start from 0, it starts from 1, which is also quite interesting. So I can now just keep on increasing the game number. We're at 110, and now at 1 again. And there's also the game reset command. I also don't really know what that's about, because when I press it, the enemies don't seem to go to the center or anything. And yeah, it's also quite hard because you also can get hit, so yeah, we can just plug in this controller into this first player port. yeah, I guess the left and right works, but the firing doesn't, and there's some weird shifting with like the colors, which needs to be figured out.